How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's topic is from an email that I got, which this guy asked me, do I think that my success was down to my new beginnings? In other words, moving to Spain, doing things like that in my life. The quick answer is that yes, most of my change, most of the fact that I'm away from the booze now is down to new beginnings. Now, I understand the question. As I said, this guy is asking whether the change was because I moved to Spain, and was it because of that, because I got out of my old environment and stuff. That was a big part of me being able to make the change. And to be honest, I moved here a year before I stopped drinking, and the reason I moved here was because I wanted to part of the reason to move here was because there was going to be cheap wine. I wanted to get in the sun. I wanted to enjoy that life that so many people here come over here to enjoy, which is to eat and drink and be merry in the sun. That was my idea. And also to work. I mean, I had to work, self-employed and all that kind of stuff. So, but eat, drink and be merry was a big motivation for me, in the sun. And as it turned out, that was sort of a life that was going to send me down the spiral a lot quicker than I would have thought I've done, than would have done if I'd have stayed in Ireland. So, yes, that decision to move here and to have new beginnings over here did have an impact on me, but it was only it was sort of an offshoot of an impact. It wasn't a direct impact, sort of indirect impact. The new beginnings that made such a big difference to me were because I stopped drinking, right? It was because I'd forced myself to do this and to get the alcohol out of your mouth. Like I say, you have to do that first. Before you do anything else, you've got to stop putting the alcohol in. If you don't stop putting the alcohol in, you've got no chance at all of making any new beginnings, of making any progress in your life, I don't think, because alcohol is such a hampering factor. Any progress that you're going to make with alcohol is in spite of the alcohol, not because of it, And when you stop drinking first, because alcohol is such a big part of your life, and I always talk about the behavior of alcohol. You're not just getting rid of the alcohol, you've got to get rid of the alcohol behavior, you've got to get rid of the alcohol thinking, you've got to get rid of the habit which is all encompassing. It takes over so many different parts of your life. You've got the thinking about drinking, you've got the actual drinking, and then you've got the consequences of that drinking. So, that is fundamentally taking over so much of your life, And when you get rid of all that, when you take out the rituals and you take out the behavior and you take out the thinking, and eventually you extract the habit and you break down the habit, you've got a lot of different gaps that are left in your life, and it's those gaps that you have to fill. And it's in those gaps that you have the best chance of having your new beginnings. That's where all the new beginnings are. And, for me, even at my time of life, at 50, that is just such a wonderful thought, that you're opening yourself up to opportunities to make so many radical improvements in your life, right? Not just bit by bit and taking a little bit out here and testing that here and taking a little bit out there, but you're taking something that has got such a massive grip on your life, and you're taking that out, pulling it out by the roots, right? And all the gaps that are left because you've pulled this habit out, you've got to fill, and you've got the chance to fill, the opportunity to fill it with something fantastic, Many of the new beginnings that I had in my life started out because I took out the alcohol first and foremost, but I had to also get rid of a lot of the different other parts of the behavior, the sort of satellite behaviors, if you want. The friends that I had to sort of stop. It wasn't a deliberate thing with most of these friends, but you sort of drift away. You realize that these people are going down a different path than you. And when somebody's going down a different path, eventually you can't hear what they're saying. What they're saying is not getting through to you anymore. So it's like you drift further further and further away. You know, there's so many other different behaviors that I've had to change. You know, my eating behaviors, the way I eat, the amounts I've been eating, the types of foods that I've been eating, and you know, that's been a gradual process. All these things happen over time. They don't happen on day one, right? They don't happen after a month. They happen gradually. It's a very, very, very dynamic process. You know, it happens with trial and error, with making mistakes and picking yourself up and going down a different route and trying something different and making mistakes there, and more and more and more that way. So, you know, when you look at it from that perspective, you realize that most of the changes that are going to happen in your life are always going to be up here, you know, in your thinking. That's where everything has to happen first. You have to change your thinking before you can change your actions. You know, sometimes you have to act. You're forced into sort of a series of actions that you have to take because of the circumstances that you're in, and that changes your thinking, which therefore has a sort of a rebooting effect on your further actions that you're taking. But you know, you rethink your drinking, you start to rethink the other parts of your life, like I said, my exercise, my nutrition, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually, you know, you start rethinking things about different parts of your life that you didn't think that you would ever go down again, you know. Like for me, going back to university was something, when I started this, it was not in the forefront of my mind at all. It was something that I thought was just well in my past. And, you know, at the beginning of this, I'm sort of a couple of months into it now, and it's taken me a while to get it into my head and to really get back into studying. Not that I was a great studier, but to sort of learn some techniques that I can use and learn some skills of studying that I can use myself, you know. I mean, I sort of read a lot of books, a couple of books at the beginning, and looked at a lot of videos on different study techniques, and I tried a lot of different things, and most of the things didn't work for me, you know. It was just, it wasn't my style of doing things, and I've eventually developed, am developing a bit more style, and once I've developed that, I'm sort of getting into it more and more, but I'm sort of going off route here a little bit. You know, this is what this is all about. It's taking a step-by-step approach to it for a start, right? Breaking old habits that you don't want, right? And re-establishing habits that you might have had in the past, or establishing new habits that you want in your life now. And it's just doing that on a bit by bit basis, you know. It's taking your time doing it and accepting that there is going to be a lot of new things in your life, and not fearing it, and you know, it's grabbing the bull by the horns, as they say, you know, and just going for it. I think sometimes that's the best way to start, is to just get in there and play act until you start feeling that you can do this, you know. Let's say bit by bit by bit. That's the only way to do this, going forward, you know. And don't think that you have to change everything. You know, there are plenty of things in my life that I'm still doing now that I used to do before I drank. You know, there's plenty of good things in my life that I had then. So it's not everything that has to be changed. You might have to tweak a lot of things a little bit in order to fit in with your new life, but you don't have to change a lot, you know. I mean, I'm sort of, there's a lot of changes coming up in my own life that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to, you know, I'm near the end of this 365-day challenge now, and I've got another website planned, sort of along similar lines to what I'm doing now. I'll still be doing alcohol mastery. I'll still be putting videos up, maybe not every day, but I'm looking forward to, as I say, new challenges, new things going forwards, and you know, looking at what the next 5 years brings. You know, what the next 10 years is going to bring. I don't know. You know, I mean, I know the general direction I want to go, but what's going to happen? You know, that's the great thing, isn't it, about, you know, moving forwards into new spaces in your life. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen or where you're going to be. So, but it's all good. Looking forward to it all. So listen, I'll leave it there. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below in the comments. Give us a like and share the video. It all helps to grow the channel. And until next time, my name's Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth, onwards and upwards. Take care. Bye now.